Magandang araw, kumusta po kayo at naway nasa ligtas kayong kalagayan habang nanonood ng ating munting programa. Ako po ang inyong Ate Michelle. Last week, aming ibinahagi ang mga paraan upang turuan ang mga kabataan na mahalin at pahalagahan ang ating bayan. Ngayong araw, malalaman naman natin ang mga programa at inisyatibo ng local government unit sa Malaybalay City, Bukidnon para sa mga child laborers ng probinsya. At sa Bida ang Bata, isang bibo kid mula Davao City ang mag-share ng mga tips sa kanyang mga kapwa chikiting on saving money. Kaya naman simulan na natin ang ating munting programa kung saan Bata ang Bida. The 2020 ILO UNICEF global estimates indicate a critical juncture in the worldwide effort against child labor. Global progress has ground to a halt over the last 4 years after having already slowed considerably in the 4 years before that. The ongoing COVID-19 crisis threatens to further erode past gains. Most child labor for boys and girls alike continues to occur in agriculture. 70% of all children in child labor, 112 million children in total, are in agriculture. Many are younger children, underscoring agriculture as an entry point of child labor. Kaya naman sa Malaybalay City sa probinsya ng Bukidnon, doble ang pagsisikap ng local government unit to continue to save child laborers in crop agriculture. And to give us an update on the programs of the province, makakasama po natin si Mr. Brian Flores, ang Executive Assistant 4 ng Office of the City Mayor. Magandang araw at maraming salamat po sa pagpapaunlak sa aming imbitasyon.
Good morning, Michelle. Thank you very much for having us as your guest today.
Sir Flores, base po ba sa inyong monitoring, ilang bata po ang engaged sa child labor sa Malaybalay City at saang sektor po karamihan sila nagtatrabaho?
Okay. As of now, Ma'am Michelle, there are no cases of child labor reported as of now. But parents are bringing their children to their farms to help for additional income and for their family and for their needs. But for the data on child labor, we are all waiting for the survey conducted by the ChildFund in Barangay Silae and Barangay Mapuro, which are the barangays that were recommended for investigation by the ChildFund. But as of now, until now, we are still waiting for that data to be shared with us from the ChildFund to the LGU.
Upang matugunan po ang problema ng child labor, ano-ano naman po ang mga hakbang na ating ginagawa lalo na sa pagpapatupad ng mga ordinansa at polisiya?
As of now, Michelle, the City Social Welfare Development Office, we are conducting advocacies at schools at the barangay levels through strengthening the BCPC. Okay, during these sessions, lectures on children and for child labor are incorporated so that such BCPC would be able to understand the difference between child work and child labor. Now, programs for the prevention of child labor are integrated in the Plan of Children by the City Council of the Protection of Children. Now, we are lobbying. Now, the lobbying was made and is already done by our City Councilor Cecil Pagaling, and the possible ordinance is in its way for child labor.
Ano-ano naman po ang mga mandates sa mga line government agencies para matulungan po ang ating mga child laborers?
Now, there are mandates that the line agencies can offer. For example, DOLE, they have services for child laborers, while we at the LGU are working together with the different agencies. In our case of children that are rescued due to child labor, the office of the CSWD can do some counseling and offer their family and children and the children and assess their needs and anything that the government can offer in their situation.
Maya-maya po ipagpapatuloy natin ang ating makabuluhang talakayan kasama pa rin si Mr. Brian Flores from the Office of the City Mayor, Malaybalay City, Bukidnon. Samahan niyo po kami sa ating kampanya upang tuluyan ng wakasan ang child labor. Maaari po kayong lumahok sa ating kampanya sa pamamagitan ng pagbisita at paglagda sa ating Pledge of Commitment sa www.change.org. Sa ngayon, meron na po tayong almost 2,000 signatures. Maraming salamat po sa inyong suporta. At isang pamilya po tayo sa pagsisikap na makamit ang ating layunin na 1,000,000 batang malaya sa child labor.
In many countries, child labor goes against the normative frameworks designed to protect children. As adults, it's our responsibility to uphold these laws and hold other adults accountable. Economic hardship takes a toll on millions of families worldwide. And in some places, it comes at the price of a child's physical safety and emotional well-being. Nearly 1 in 10 children across the globe are subjected to child labor, and almost half of those children are in hazardous forms of work. I believe that all children should have their fundamental rights upheld, including the opportunity to be free from exploitation, to pursue an education, and to live in a safe and healthy environment. Nearly a year and a half ago, I had the privilege of traveling to the Philippines and got to see firsthand the remarkable work that's being led by our ChildFund team, partners, and the Department of Labor. I will never forget meeting the devoted community leaders that have dedicated both their personal and professional lives to this fight. I left there feeling inspired and ready to take on bigger and bolder actions to address this problem in our over 20 countries where ChildFund works around the world. I hope you stand alongside me and our amazing team in the Philippines to eradicate child labor and create a society where children can be free to experience the joys and wonders of growing up in a safe, healthy, and supported community. From Miami, Florida, I'm Betsy Sherwood, and it's my honor to work with ChildFund as our Senior Advisor for Child Protection. I stand against child labor.
Patuloy po ang ating pagbabahagi ng mga school and art materials sa isang maswerteng netizen na makakapagbigay ng makabuluhang sagot. At dahil Father's Day na po ngayong linggo, June 20, paano mo ba maipapakita at maipapadama ang iyong pagmamahal at pasasalamat sa iyong ama? Mga bata, i-comment ninyo ang inyong mga sagot and don't forget syempre to like our page at i-like and share ang videong ito. Kaya naman mga chikiting, show your love para sa ating mga tatay. Nagpapatuloy ang ating makabuluhang talakayan tungkol sa mga programa ng LGU kontra child labor sa Malaybalay City, Bukidnon, kasama pa rin si Mr. Brian Flores mula sa Office of the City Mayor. Ngayon naman, ang komunidad naman po ang ating bibigyan ng pagkakataon na makapagtanong kay Mr. Flores. Narito po ang kanilang mga tanong at ang kasagutan ni Mr. Flores.
Ako po si Joan May Palyoto at narito po ang aking tanong. Ano po ang assistance na pwedeng ibigay ng LGU sa mga magulang ng mga child laborers?
Now, there are mandates that the line agencies can offer. For example, DOLE, they have services for child laborers, while we at the LGU are working together with the different agencies. In our case of children that are rescued due to child labor, the office of the CSWD can do some counseling and offer their family and children and the children and assess their needs and anything that the government can offer in their situation.
Ako po si Princess Mariel Pialong, narito po ang aking tanong. Gaano ka-importante ang pagkikipagtulungan ng private sector para lalo pang mapalakas ang kampanya kontra child labor?
It is very important that the private sector would participate in this fight against child labor. The reason that we don't have any data is that because nobody is reporting anything about this case. Therefore, with the help of the private sectors, we can locate those children who are victims of child labor. The non-government organizations also play a very big, important role because the services of the government are limited. Now, we need the support of the NGOs to work with us hand in hand in combating child labor and child abuse as a whole.
Ako naman po si Edelweiss Tigbabaw at narito po ang aking tanong. Ano naman po ang pwedeng gawin ng barangay upang paigtingin ang mga programa kontra child labor?
First, we need to know the situation of the family. Then, once we know the situation of the family, we can do case management, and that case management should be done by the office of the CSWD. Okay, we must address the roots, not just what we can see by our own eyes. Example of services that can be given to them are assistance of livelihood, counseling, strengthening of parent roles, responsibilities, financial assistance, and educational needs for the children. We are trying to strengthen the BCPC. Okay, we need the participation of the private sectors, especially those who are in barangay levels. If a person has knowledge about certain cases, he or she can approach the BCPC and report it. Now, the BCPC, who are already trained for this, can knows who or which agencies to report this, like the CSWD or our local police. Now, we need to ensure that the plans for these children are in place, especially in barangay levels. Also, to continue programs such as advocacies for the prevention of child labor, counseling to parents, effectiveness seminars, empowerment, and reaffirmation of parental abilities training.
Maraming salamat sa ating mga kababayan na nagbahagi ng kanilang mga tanong. Naway nabigyang linaw po ang inyong mga katanungan ng ating bisita. Sir Flores, bilang pagtatapos po ang inyong mensahe para sa ating mga magulang at mga bata.
As a parent myself, it is very important to bring our children to school, to have them well educated, to give them support in their education, to guide them with their daily activities, and to nurture them. And I'm sure it is very important to us parents to be good role models to our children.
Maraming salamat po sa oras na inyong inilaan sa ating munting programa, Mr. Brian Flores, ang Executive Assistant 4 of the Office of the City Mayor, Malaybalay City, Bukidnon.
Let us normalize teaching and educating our Filipino children of their rights. At sana sa ating mga nakatatanda, matutunan din sana nating tumayo para sa karapatan ng mga bata. Ako po si Love Anyover and I stand against child labor.
Alam niyo ba na napakarami mga kabataan ages 7 to 17 are involved in hazardous forms of work o trabaho na talagang hindi maganda para sa kabataan. Ano ito? May mga kabataang nagsasaka as young as 7, 8 years old, nag-aararo. May mga batang nagtatrabaho sa minahan. At ito pa ang pinakamasama, may mga kabataan na inaalok ng mga magulang for sexual exploitation. Ang mga bata ay may karapatan. They have a right to be themselves. They have a right to be children. They have a right to play. They have a right to express. They have a right for protection. At tayo mga magulang at matatanda, it is our duty to make sure that children are protected. Ngayong COVID-19, ang pinakasapul sa lahat ay kabataan. Our children are at home, alone in their room, doing online education, separated from their friends, isolated from their friends. Important events in their lives. Bantayan natin ang gusto ng ating kabataan. Mahalin natin ang ating mga anak. At protektahan natin ang kanilang karapatan. Ako po si Kuya Kim, and I stand against child labor.
Isang bibo kid na vlogger din na ang magbabahagi ng mga simple tips on how to save money. Paano nga ba? Mga chikiting, panoorin natin sa Bida ang Bata.
Naniniwala si Mami Yayo that one of the greatest gifts that parents can give their kids is to prepare them to be responsible and empowered beings around money. Kaya naman, bukod sa magandang asal at pakikisama, dahan-dahan din niyang pinapaintindi ang kahalagahan ng pag-iipon ng pera sa kanyang cute little boy na si Safe.
Teaching our kids at young age will help them to make decisions on when they will use the money. Especially in the future, they will know how to budget when they will enter the real world. By helping them, Kids will understand to pay close attention about the opportunities that we'll face.
Hi kids! It's safe here and welcome back to Save Us World!
And to raise awareness sa mga kapwa niya mga bata, sa tulong ni Mami Yayo, gumagawa ng isang simpleng vlog si Save upang ibahagi ang mga simpleng tips to save money na kanyang natutunan.
Let's talk about saving money! First tip, we go to school where parents give you money and or allowance. You can save that money by not spending too much. When you go home, you can put it in your bear bank. Second tip, by earning money. You can ask your parents to do the housework chores, and your parents will give a reward or money. You can clean your area and fix your toys. Help your mom take out the trash. Mommy will give you money as a reward. And you can put it in my bear bank again. So kids, my last tip is, usually during birthdays, if friends, relatives, we give you money as a present. You can also say that in your bear bank also. Kids, thanks for listening to me.
To my fellow parents, mommies and daddies, always remember that saving money is also a discipline. So while teaching them saving habits, just make sure that you're modeling yourself to them. Because as parents model a good behavior early on, our kids will get the message that being smart about the money is always part of growing up.
Mga bata, mahilig ka bang kumanta? Sumayaw o gumuhit? I-post na ang inyong pictures o video showcasing your talents. Bukod sa pagbabahagi ng inyong mga talento, may chance ka pang manalo ng mga school at art materials at ma-feature sa Bata ang Bida.
Kita ang ating kagandahan, dahan-dahan.
Maraming salamat sa mga bata na nagbahagi ng kanilang pagmamahal at pasasalamat sa kanilang mga ama. Isang lucky netizen ang ating napusuan. Hintayin lamang ang mensahe mula sa aming team kung paano makuha ang inyong regalo. Mga bata at magulang, naway marami kayong natutunan sa ating talakayan ngayong araw. And don't forget to like and follow our Facebook page at BuildCA2P. Mag-subscribe din po tayo sa ating YouTube channel, BuildCA2P ChildFund. Maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga nanood at nagbigay rin ng suporta sa ating ginanap na World Day Against Child Labor Saving Children from Hazardous Work live virtual event noong June 12, 2021. Naway palaging maging bukas ang ating puso at isipan sa pagsigurong natutupad at nararanasan ng mga bata ang kanilang karapatan saan man at anumang panahon. See you next time para sa isa namang makabuluhang kwentuhan kung saan bata ang bida. At narito po ang kantang Batang Malaya na ating munting handog para sa mga bata sa pagdiriwang ng World Day Against Child Labor.
La 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 la. 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 Mga munting paa saan ang punta, sa bawat hakbang palapit ng palapit sa pag-asang aakinin. Dito tayo sa lugar kung saan matamis ang ngiti ng bawat bata, nakadungaw sa kinabukasan walang ligalig. Ako'y isang munting bata, hayang maglaro, matuto, mangarap. Ako'y isang munting bata, matayog ang aking pangarap.
Narinig mo ba ang aking halakak? Kasiyahang binalot ng iyong pagmamahal at mahigpit na yakap.
Mga munting kamay, huwag kang mag-alinlangan, dahil meron kang kakapitan. Huwag ka nang mangamba, dahil hindi ka na mag-iisa.
Ako'y isang munting bata, hayaang maglaro, matuto, mangarap. Ako'y isang munting bata, matayog ang aking mga pangarap. Kami ay mga munting bata, sa tulong nyo makakamit ang 1,000,000 Batang Malaya.
Ako po si Michelle Robin and I stand against child labor.